Hello! We're here to talk about the new Drake album, Scorpion. From the Scorpio himself, October's very own, Aubrey Drake Graham. Scorpion is officially the 5th studio album by Drake, but he's had several mixtapes released over the years. But this is officially the album that follows up 2016's Views. And those two albums are very stylistically similar. They're both overly long, they're quite bloated, they're both about an hour and a half long. We both have their moments, but we're going to get into Scorpion now. Since the album's release on Friday, it has broken several streaming records. It smashed loads of Spotify's one day streaming records. Same on Apple Music. And Republic and Cash Money are really behind it, really pushing it all over Spotify, to the extent where people are actually complaining that there's Drake saturation on there. His face is on playlists that don't even have Drake songs. So this is the level of push that this album is receiving on the streaming platforms. And as we know, with the notion of stream trolling so famous now, where artists like bloat their albums to increase the amounts of streams, therefore the amounts of plays, this double album features 25 tracks. Therefore, if these are getting stream loads, we're going to see a lot of chart success for Drake in the next few weeks. And in the run-up to Scorpion, he had two big number ones in the UK. First, God's Plan, which was number one which felt like forever. And then he followed it up with Nice for What. Both brilliant songs, both really powerful chart success they received. And now this album's come out and it feels like it's going to just be straight in at number one on the UK album charts, and it's going to sit there for a while because Drake at the moment is as popular as Ed Sheeran was when he released Divide last year, and he filled up the entire singles chart with the tracks from the album. Streaming rules have changed since then, but I think we're going to see a lot of Drake on the singles chart this weekend. Scorpion is a double album. It's got two sides to it. So side A is more rap heavy, more braggadocious. We get the usual Drake themes of loneliness and betrayal and that sort of stuff. And side 2 is more filled with sort of mournful, like ego-crushed R&B songs that Drake is also well known for. And it's unusual to hear these two separated into two separate sides of the album. Usually Drake incorporates both of these styles in his tracks. The rap side of the album is certainly stronger than the R&B side. Side B has several weak moments like Ratchet Happy Birthday, and it just feels like filler. It's just Drake going, "It's your birthday, baby, it's your birthday. Who's gonna love you on your worst day?" It's just really whiny, like the worst sort of songs that Drake makes, where like a girl's fucked him over and he's like, well, you know, I'm the bigger man and she's going to be like pissed off in the end. It's one of those songs. Finesse is again another just drab, boring R&B song with just really longy, like mournful, just boring vocals. As you would imagine from a Drake album, the usual themes are repeating themselves here. We've got people abusing Drake for his fame. There's obviously how he's got no one around him because he's famous. Like the dark side of fame has been like a core part of Drake's albums since Take Care, really. But the new part of this is we have got a sort of response in a way to the Pusha T beef. So, quick recap. Essentially, Drake and Pusha T had some beef, long-standing, and after a couple of rounds back and forth recently, Pusha T like just absolutely savaged Drake on a song called Son of Adidon, and he revealed to the world an unprecedented fact. Drake is a father. He has been hiding a child from the world who he's had with a woman he's no longer with, and Drake basically just raked him over the coals for this and just shattered this image of Drake that he's been consistently been portraying for at least 10 years now. The gentleman, the ladies' man, the guy who will like respects his girls and all that sort of thing. But this revelation came as a massive shock and just shattered this image of Drake everyone had. And on this album, Drake accepts that he has this child. On Emotionless, Drake says, "I wasn't hiding my kid from the world, I was hiding the world from my kid." And on other tracks, he addresses these allegations head on. And the final track on the album, March 14th, is one of the most touching songs Drake's ever released, actually. It's a letter to his son, talking about how he's repeating the cycles of himself that he had as a child with his absentee father. He's been sending him gifts, and some of the gifts were too small or inappropriate for the child. And he sort of feels like he's repeating these mistakes, but he's trying to rectify them. And it's actually quite refreshing to hear Drake talk about something other than how famous he is and how difficult his life is, because these are real issues. I mean, like, say what you will about the beef, Drake has got a son now, and he has been hiding him, really. And one day, the child's going to get older, and he's going to learn that he was revealed to the world through a Pusha T diss song. It wasn't Drake taking control of the narrative, talking about how he's had this child he probably didn't want to keep. This was revealed in a fucking rap beef. So it's actually quite important for Drake to be talking about this and making these sort of amends. And it feels quite mature from him. I mean, the maturity doesn't really continue throughout the album, but this is one of the better songs in Drake's career. Much like how Chris Rock said that Jay-Z should have had an executive producer credit on Nas's Stillmatic for reviving his career after the Takeover diss. I mean, Pusha T, he had a really big part to play in this album. You can tell a lot of it has been recently recorded. So I can't imagine the state of the album before the Pusha T diss. But there's been considerable changes since then. I mean, there's all this talk about the kids, about Drake's son. There's the talk about just the addressing of the beef. I mean, these are like 3 or 4 songs that feel like they've been really recently recorded, as in within the past month or so. On Talk Up, Jay-Z even makes a reference to the recently deceased XXX Extentacion, talking about how, why do we lose him when George Zimmerman is still walking free. Talk Up is a strong song on the album. It's built around a brilliant sampling of NWA's Dope Man. Produced by DJ Paul, the beat is it just feels so old school and new at the same time. It samples the famous synthesizer from Dope Man, and it's got little knocks at the start. It's brilliant. It's a great slice of nostalgia. Sandra's Rose is another great song. The long-awaited collaboration between Drake and DJ Premier feels fresh. Drake talks about his family, about his mother. He talks about his mother quite a lot, Drake. And this is another one where he talks about how they came from nothing, basically, and he was looking after her now. Talk Up is also great because we've got Jay-Z on this album. I mean, Drake and Jay-Z, I can't keep up with their beef. Sometimes they're beefing, sometimes they're not. But I think Jay-Z and Drake realise that they're one and the same. Drake is this generation's Jay-Z. Massively popular rap artist. Great discography. So many huge pop songs. And still keeping it quite true to the rap sense. So, I mean, it's natural these guys are going to get on. And I can't be bothered to keep up with their supposed beef. However, despite the presence of some great songs on Scorpion, the album is just too long to really enjoy fully. This is 90 minutes of Drake. 90 minutes of any artist would feel like a long time, especially in rap music where it's essentially just Drake talking for an hour and a half. And it doesn't really flow, the whole thing. And just too many songs. There are bright moments, but overall it's just way too bloated. It's got it feels like Views, basically. Like, there were some good spots, but mostly a lot of it was just filler that could be avoided. And it just feels like stream trolling at this point by Drake. So having said all that, it's got to be 6 out of 10 for Drake Scorpion.